It is Sunday, September 16th, 2018. Just wanted to give an update of what I see going on this week in weather within the Mid-Atlantic. No doubt the big news is Florence. I mean, this thing is still spinning down here in the South Carolina, and it's going to move up here into the southwestern part of Virginia and then eventually out in Pennsylvania. Right now, today, it's just causing an extended period of onshore rain and upslope rain and flooding and everything else that's bad that you can imagine. Just devastating down there. Guys, to look for ways that you can donate or help through community outreaches. Just make sure they're legitimate. A lot of times during times like this, you get people who are trying to exploit things for their own purposes, and it's really sad. But anyway, donate wisely, but definitely donate if you can. As we move in the future, here's the low going out to the west. There's a chance of some flooding rains even here into West Virginia. I definitely point to the I-81 corridor with a little bit of upslope because it'll be on our easterly wind fetch off the ocean, and obviously a lot of moist tropical air. In day 3, you finally see it trying to move on out, and it should get out of here. Finally, after Tuesday. So anyway, definitely been a crazy period, a very unpredictable and crazy time period. But there are changes coming in the long term that show a turn towards more of an autumn feel, and that's what I'll go over next. So this is the outlook. Again, this is the Weather Prediction Center's outlook. Day 3, you see a front here. This is Wednesday next week. Front kind of coming down southward here. Florence is on its way out, we hope completely. There's some interesting signs that maybe something would try to develop here in the southeast coast. We'll have to watch, but hopefully that's not the case and things just clear on out. So here we got day 4. We can see some arcing cooler air slipping down here east of the mountains. So this should be drier air. We should definitely feel nicer with temperatures probably in the 80s, maybe a little bit mid and upper 80s in the south, but a drier feed for sure coming in from the north. And that air is damming up against mountains. So this should feel pretty nice. Day 5, we can see that high starting to slip further east and a low pressure system in the front moving towards the east coast. Day 6, it's cleared the east coast, but you can see the origin of these high pressures are up in the northern part of the country. So this is going to be drier, cooler air. You can even see a reinforcing shot of cooler air here coming down. This is a change. So we're seeing a squishing of the highs and the warmer air to the south because we're seeing some northern air intrusion. Day 7, and you see that there, but we can also see this turning into a warm front that's going to probably come back north and provide some rebound in temperatures. But not sure how warm it will get, but I'm not saying we're out of the woods as far as warmer air. And that's actually what you're going to see in the long-term forecast. But what I will tell you is this is Arctic influence, and these are Pacific streams and Pacific systems coming into the country. This has much more look of fall than it does than it has for several weeks. So all good signs if you're a fall, autumn lover that maybe by the end of the month and the beginning of next month we're going to see cooler air. And just to emphasize that, we can see in the long term, the 6 to 10 day forecast, we're starting to see this cooler air coming into the west coast, and into the northern part. This is a sign here of some changes as Canada's air starting to spill into the U.S. Seasonal changes, not a surprise since we're getting that time of the year. And in the longer range, 814, we do see a resurgence of that warmth. Like I said, we could see some rebounding in warm air, but this is all good sign if you're a weather change of wanting the autumn weather to come in. So again, I didn't do a good job of showing the time period, but this is a 6 to 10 day period. This is the 8 to 14 day period. But still cooler air than normal here in the west. And then if you look all the way out to week 3, you can see that the west looks like it's going to warm up. And if you get a warmth in the east, you're going to get a trough coming into here. In the west, sorry. Ridge in the west, or warm air in the west, going to mean trough in the east and cooler air. All good signs if you like a cooler pattern, more seasonable pattern possibly coming up in the long run. And as we look at the really long forecast here, in the 8 to 14 day temps, you can actually see that maybe some colder than normal air is going to slip down here into the country. This is a long-range Climate Prediction Center is looking at long-range temperature outlook, and maybe some cooler than normal air will actually slip across the border. So we'll see. I'm just saying signs are changing, things are changing, patterns are changing. seasons are changing, and we know this week the first official day of autumn hits, and it looks like autumn's going to arrive pretty close to its time, based on what I'm seeing here. Going back to the next couple of days, I did want to point out the amount of rain that is forecast. We do see quite a bit along the spine here of the Appalachians, maybe 3 to 5 inches. I'm not so certain that it will make it this far east, just based on some of the forecast models. This may be a little bit over down to its eastern extent. We'll see. But anyway, that's like 1 to 3 inches. Nothing like what you're seeing down here in southwestern Virginia. I mean, this is just incredible amounts of rain that is continuing, and so flash flooding and floods are definitely still a possibility here in western North Carolina into southwest Virginia. Not a surprise. This is the next 1 to 5 days. And this is the Mid-Atlantic River Forecast Center showing where the heaviest rains look like they're going to fall. Like I said, I think this may be a little too far to the east now. I'm just looking at models this morning. I think maybe this shifts just a little bit to the west, making the bigger rains out in this region. I think what you're seeing here is there is an upslope component to these systems, so they're showing the spine of the higher elevations as places where more rain will get squeezed out, and that's probably likely. I mean, 1 to 2 inches, not a big deal. Maybe a few places we get up near 3. That's not a surprise. I think it is highly dependent on exactly how the trajectory of some of these easterly fetched rain bands set up, and where they do set up, there's going to be quite a bit more rain. This is tropical air, so in tropical air, it doesn't take much disturbance for there to be a good amount of water. So do take heed that there could be localized flooding. And as you get into southwestern Virginia, which is outside this, there's even more rain, more like the 3 to 5, maybe 5 to 6, 7, 8 even inches of rain in some of the mountain tops. So things that need to be watched out for. And the last thing I wanted to show is the mean surface temperatures. It's like the mean of our average here of what we're looking at as far as temperatures. And you're going to look at 2 different periods. This is the 15th to the Sunday the 23rd. You can still see pretty warm air in this region. Not a good color pen, but anyway, you're seeing the warmer air still in the Mid-Atlantic. But if you look at the next month, our next set of times, which is the 23rd through October 1st, much cooler pattern setting up in our region. More seasonable. I wouldn't say it's cold, but much more seasonable temperatures. So we get back at least a mean to below normal. Doesn't mean that you won't have a spike here or there of warmer air, but at least we see a pattern changing. And look at the overall infiltration of cooler air much further south. So we're seeing a change in the times and the seasons here. And that's my weekly summary there. Hopefully you enjoy this. If you do, give it a thumbs up. And I know 8 minutes is a pretty long part of your day, but hopefully you get some insight into where we're going over the next week and weeks. Didn't even really go into the forecast overall, but I just showed the fronts and the things coming through. The rain chances after about Tuesday will decrease. It will be dry for several days, but then a front comes in from the west and sparking another chance of showers and thunderstorms, but nothing prolific rain-wise like we have seen. And that actually brings in the cooler air yet again after it as we kind of move towards the seasonal cool downs. All right, have a great day.